it's time for today's guest. You know Drake Bell for his work on Nickelodeon's hit sitcom Drake and Josh, and now he's making music. Drake recently released the official video for his Latin-inspired single, Fuego, Lento, which captures the colorful sounds and sights of Latin America. Everyone, please give a warm Build Brunch welcome to Drake Bell. Hey, welcome.
Hey,
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Can we point at your shoes?
Yeah, I was gonna say those shoes are so
Those are fire.
These are my Elton John Rocket Man shoes.
Ooh,
Those are awesome.
what if I just
cool.
spilled ice cream on them? Would you hate me?
That'd be rude.
That's
not a nice welcome.
You're like, that was rude. But
Unless a food fight starts and then the audience gets involved and then it's a whole nother show and that would be
Okay.
Then that's
That's
a
what
good
I
thing.
wanted. I just wanted a breakout moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no big deal.
Turn it up.
You're so cool. Okay, but first, we need to talk about Fuego Lento,
Yeah.
your song.
Yes, I released a new song recently, and it's pretty exciting. It's the first song that I've sung in Spanish, which is really cool. I have for some reason, I don't know, I released some records years ago, and they did really well in Mexico and all over Latin America. And so I started going down there and touring a lot, and through my experiences down there, working with other artists and playing these big festivals and seeing all these other styles of music and the way the audiences were reacting and all of that, I sort of, I guess it just rubbed off on me. And then when I got back to the studio, I was like, man, I want to do something that sounds like, what I've been hearing. And also because the fans, like I would do cover songs in Spanish and things, and the fans would lose it and they would love it. And so I was like, man, it'd be really cool to be able to do something original in their language, like as a give back to them for all of the stuff that they've done for us and everything. So I went to the studio and we kind of wrote this song, and I got some friends together to kind of help me make sure that I didn't sound, terrible.
That
My
would be the
accent was all bad and everything. So we had some friends come in and help out and recorded the tune and put it out, and it just smashed. Like, it's just doing crazy. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, it's one of the biggest songs we put out, and it's really taken over down there. So it's really cool. And then we just recently released a music video for it that's doing really well, and yeah. So
That's awesome.
It's exciting. It's
And
a whole
did
new
you
adventure? Yeah.
So did you have to learn a lot of Spanish before recording and writing the track?
Well, I mean, I know enough to kind of get around, because I've been going down there for so many years and spending so much time down there. And I grew up in Southern California, so I've kind of been inundated with Spanish culture and Mexican culture for my whole life. Far from speaking it fluently.
Right.
But I knew enough to where I wasn't coming into it completely green and where I'm like, what is the accent, or how do I pronounce these words or anything like that. It was just, some words I didn't know that we were writing or singing. And the way we'd write is I want to say this, and how would that make sense in Spanish? And then, we'd have to change it around like this. So it was sort of like a collaborative effort that way. And then when I went into sing, I knew enough Spanish to kind of, to get around sounding terrible.
Yeah. And you even rap in Spanish.
I rap in Spanish?
That's what I was told.
I don't, but I could if I tried.
I believe in you.
No, I
think you could
don't.
do
They're
anything
making-
In
with your
this track, you even rap Spanish.
Oh, you know what? It sounds like rapping. It sounds like rapping. It's just fast singing. It's just fast singing.
You're
yeah.
so tricky.
No, I'm not. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's
a
not
little
wrong.
shady.
It could sound like. I guess it could sound like rapping. Yeah, there is because I did a
Hey,
full
can we
Spanish.
fire the producer?
No, I did a full Spanish version. So there's a
two,
version that's the chorus. It's like Spanglish. The chorus is in Spanish, and then there's a full Spanish version. And in some of the Spanish version, there's some fast talky parts.
Fast talking.
Yeah,
One
you
day
know
we'll
what?
graduate to rap.
All right, yeah. Right now we're at fast talking, and soon there'll be added rhythm and style, and then it'll be rap.
Yeah.
There you go.
You mentioned the music video. You filmed that in Mexico City. So what was that like? Because I love Mexico City. It's so
Oh yeah,
gorgeous.
isn't it great?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places in the world. Reminds me a lot of New York, just kind of a little older. But yeah, Mexico City is amazing. The vibe, the culture, the people, it's a very exciting place. So to be able to go out and shoot the music video there and have fans involved and everything was really cool. I mean, it's
so beautiful.
Yeah, and it makes it look like we spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
On locations and stuff.
Did some fans come out and watch you guys film
Yeah,
it?
totally. Yeah, it was really cool. It was like an open set. We were kind of just tooling around Mexico City and finding little spots, and then little crowds would gather and stuff. And And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What does it mean for you to have that fan base and for that fan base to like show up and be so supportive?
I mean, it's awesome. It's really cool. It's the first time we ever went down there, it was wild because, you know, I'd released my second record, I think, and we're doing okay here. You know, we're doing like small theaters, like we do. Theater's escaping my brain right now, like Roseland or something like that. You know, like 1,000, 2,000 seats, whatever. And then we heard we were going to go to Mexico and play a show, or like Beacon Theater, like those kind of things. And then I would. They were like, oh, we got a tour in Mexico, and we're gonna go to Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey, and Puebla and stuff. And so my band was like, okay, great, cool. We're gonna be playing like whatever, small shows out there, cool. And we get there, and they're like, we're playing the arenas, and we're at soccer stadiums, and there's 20,000 seats sold out, and all this stuff. And we didn't even know because we didn't. What are we gonna ask for? You know, we're just like another show. You know, get on an airplane, go to the thing. But then we go to sound check. And we're pulling up to the venue, and I'm like, is there like a mini venue underneath this venue that's like the small club?
A side stage.
Or like a side stage or whatever. You know, and then we're going into sound check and everything, and we're looking at like, okay, so the first front row, like, so the first row will be filled, and like, how are we gonna hire some extras, or how are we gonna get like people to fill this place?
CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Audience,
but they're like, no, you have 2 sold-out shows today, you know. And so we did a matinee and so I mean, it just took off out there, and yeah, so it's and it's cool out there because, well, really just anywhere outside of the United States. I just feel like sometimes in the States we're so inundated. We have everything.
Yeah.
We have you know it's. And everybody plays at Madison Square Garden. Everybody plays in New York. You know, if you want to see somebody, they're gonna come to New York sometime. You know, but for other parts of the world, they don't all. You know, maybe their favorite artist doesn't go to that small island under Italy or that small town like Puebla. Like how many you know of their favorite artists are coming to these small cities? So when we flew out there, it's like their reactions and there's like no, oh yeah, whatever, cool. We saw this show yesterday, or we saw that thing yesterday. We went and, you know, we got Disneyland and Universal around the corner, like big deal. So it's like kind of a bigger deal when you go outside the country and see these fans and stuff, and the reactions are a lot more exciting and energetic.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So another genre you've been kind of exploring with your music is like hip hop. Can you tell us about that? And I feel like it's interesting doing kind of Latin flavored music and then also doing hip hop as well.
I just like music, man. You know, I kind of just like to make music that I like to listen to. And so it's kind of hard to stay in a certain genre. I think that's why I never worked on labels, you know? I would get signed and I would make a record, and then they would say, okay, time to make your follow-up record. And they would be like, whoa, wait, no, what is this? Like, you need to sound like this. I'm like, no, but I already did that.
Yeah.
Like, that was the last record I already did. Like, why would I make a record that sounds like the last album? And that's not the music that I'm into right now. Like, I like that music, but I'm kind of really into like all this. And then it kind of always is whoever I'm hanging out with, or whatever music I'm really digging or listening to at that moment is sort of what I end up kind of being inspired by to go into the studio and I guess just put my spin on it. But like, for example, like the hip hop stuff, you know, I was hanging out a lot with like Lil Pump and like the Lil Xan crew, and like all and like Tank God. I worked with Tank God, who did Post Malone's Rockstar, and just like a bunch of these, you know, hip hop cats that I was like, how am I finding myself in the room with these guys, you know? But then I was just like, I don't know, I was just loving like the fashion and the music and the style and like everything, and then eventually a conversation starts like, oh, well, we should do something. Like, let's get in the studio and do our own thing or something. And then, you know, a week later, you're sitting in the studio and you're making a hip hop record, and you're like, okay, this is weird, but
that's sort of the coolest music you hear. I feel like more and more artists are genre-less, and you see like the coolest collaborations now that I feel like we didn't get.
Absolutely. I mean, especially in the Latin market. You know what I mean? I mean, Jonas just released a new Latin record. Sean, you know, Sean and Camila doing the Senorita, and I mean, it's really the whole crossover. And I think with social media and technology and all of that, it's making it so much easier for people to connect, you know, different artists to connect, and also just for fans not to say, wait, why is my rock and roll band, you know, for example, like, you know, Panic at the Disco, you know, for example, it's like, wait, why? I'm not a Taylor Swift, like, why are they connect, you know, but nowadays it's so natural for like, oh, they probably connected, they probably liked something one did, and then they got in the room and worked together and collabed, and now they have this song.
And they both think spelling is fun, and so it works.
Yeah, exactly,
You know?
exactly. So you have like it's a lot more natural, I think, to a fan now to see artists crossing paths and it's like, look at Ed Sheeran. I mean, Ed Sheeran's records sound like
Everybody.
yeah, I mean, and also just you put on his album and from beginning to end, it sounds like 20 different styles of music. You're like, oh, that could play in the club, and oh, this is what I want to listen to on a road trip with my girlfriend, and oh, this is what I want to listen to when my girlfriend doesn't come on a road trip with me because she left me and I'm sad. It's like he has something for everything, and it's kind of all encompassing, like all styles of music and genre lists, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like when artists reinvent. It seems more genuine because we as people grow and change. It kind of makes sense that you as an artist would change and kind of incorporate more styles and stuff. Since you're also an actor too, when you perform live, is it similar to like acting in a way, or is it just more just like you're singing, you're on stage, or?
No, I mean, no, it's totally different. I mean, when you're acting, it's. When you're acting, you're stifled and you're by sort of everybody else's thoughts and opinions of how something
Producers, writers,
should
directors,
be portrayed.
yeah.
Right. You're taking someone's material and interpreting it the best that you can, but you're always going to have 20 people saying, oh, it should be this way, or play it this way, or I actually envisioned it this way, or say it this way, So it's kind of more of a collaborative thing. Sometimes collaborative. Sometimes you're just a prop being told what to do, which is most of the time, actually. And music is way more freeing. I mean, you are saying what you want to say. You're moving the way you want to move. You're interpreting things the way you feel. It's a much more spontaneous, fly by the seat.
Right.
No rehearsal. I like to have things spontaneous and live and reactionary, as opposed to going out with a set list and and after the third song I say this, and then after these two songs, then we slow it down a bit, and this is where I get on my soapbox and say my message to the audience, and then we go into this song, and like that's just so cool. If you saw our show on Thursday, then you saw our show on Friday. Like that.
Right.
Why would you want to come back to the show? And so my band, it's always actually been a thing with my band. They're always like, can we please get a set list today? Like today, for this one show, just one show. I'm like, no, bro, we don't know what they want yet. Like, we'll figure it out when we get out there. And so my drummer's always like, what's next? What's next? I'm like, we'll figure it out. But I like having everything more spontaneous and kind of fly by the seat of your pants.
That's really cool. You don't see that very often, I don't think.
Well, it's just, I don't know. I think when things are so rehearsed, and obviously with these bigger shows, like if you go and see Taylor or Drake or Beyonce or something, obviously everything is meticulously rehearsed and perfect. If you go see J-Lo or something. Yeah. But I think with I don't know. I think that my music has a little bit more of a rock and roll edge, kind of. I can kind of give I don't really give a kind of attitude to the music as well as being perfectly rehearsed.
Right. And looking back at your career, of course, we all love Drake and Josh, and you and Josh Peck are like, I feel like all our best friends. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but you guys, you were on Grandfathered, and you YouTube videos together. So you guys have worked together since then. Like you guys are good friends. Yeah. I mean, we're still in the era of rebooting. Will and Grace, Netflix is rebooting shows. Do you think there'll ever be a Drake and Josh reboot of some kind? Yeah.
Yo, Josh, how much can I talk about?
Exclusive.
No. Well,
did you just hang up on him before he answered?
You didn't say bye.
Yeah,
He deserves
so
it.
rude.
Yeah.
No. I guess I could talk about this because it was in the press. So Josh has come up with a pretty good idea. It's actually pretty brilliant. I think it's the best way. I think it's really the best way for us to come back. It's one of the more creative ways to do a reboot, I think. So we will see if anything comes from that. But hopefully, I think the fans would love it, and I know that Josh and I are excited, and we would definitely jump at the opportunity to do something creative and thoughtful. Not so much of a. I don't think we would be excited to do a Drake and Josh college years,
Right.
or where are these characters now? But if there was some sort of creative way to bring us together again, and still have reminiscent things about Drake and Josh on the show, or whatever it is. It's just got to have to be, because a lot of people ask, well, is it going to be Drake and Josh go to college, or where are they now, or what is it? And it's like, that just doesn't turn us on as much as if it was like something a little bit turned on its, something
But
a
you're
little
saying
more.
he thought is something that you are on board with, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's
Okay,
looking like
so-
it's a go.
We'll see. I don't know.
We
a lot
know
of stars,
it's
a lot
not
of
gonna be
stars have to
college.
align. A lot of stars have to align for that to happen. But
Things
yeah.
happen on this show, Bill.
Yeah.
We make dreams come
Well,
true.
yeah.
We're really good
send
at
a letter to your
manifesting
local
other people's dreams.
Right.
councilman.
We haven't worked on ourselves yet.
Other people's dreams.
Yeah.
But then back to your music. So what's next for you? So you just released this music video. What goals do you have the rest of the year?
Just more music. I'm out here doing a bunch of press for the song, and then I go back on the road. I'm pretty much just always on the road. I
Always
leave
touring.
here next week. I'll be back in Mexico doing some shows in Mexico, and then just continuing from there.
That's great.
That's
Hope we can
awesome.
see you live
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come out
wait.
to the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Woo, we'll be there. Drake, thank you so much for joining us. And you can listen to Fuego Lento on all music platforms and stream the music video online.